if you want to retire a millionaire or multimillionaire for that matter, there are some key principles you need to follow, like a lot of people who have built wealth over time. However, I'm going to talk about 6 reasons most Americans are not going to actually find themselves retiring or building wealth to become millionaires because they are doing these things day in and day out, and it's actually hindering their progress. So if you want to learn more, definitely stick around and watch all the way through. But I just want to say welcome to the channel. This is Dollar for Dollar. My name is Heather. Thank you so much for joining today. I came across a article recently on Investopedia that was talking about the average savings for people as they're entering retirement and what people have accumulated over time. And what I found was really interesting. Most Americans are nowhere near where they need to be to retire comfortably in America. And why do I say that? Well, I say that because if you watched one of my previous videos I did a while back, I talked about how healthcare alone is super expensive, especially when you enter retirement. And as you need more care, as you get into the later years of your life, you're going to be hit with a lot of expenses. And a lot of that is stuff you're just not going to be able to completely plan for. So you have to have a lot of cushion in your retirement savings, in your budget. What I found in this article on Investopedia was actually the opposite. It's showing us that the average person between 60 and 69 only has $182,000 saved in their 401k for retirement. Now, granted, they're just looking at 401ks. This is not looking at maybe something that they have saved in other investment accounts. Maybe they're not looking at IRAs, right? Or maybe they're not considering, rental property. Maybe there's somebody who's very invested in real estate and they're getting monthly income that way. They're a landlord. There are lots of factors here. But if we just drill down to the very basics here, what it's saying is Americans are not prepared to A, retire, but also Americans are not going to be millionaires. And I've said before that anybody can become a millionaire, and I really do believe that. But there are some key principles you have to follow, just like millionaires, if you want to be one, right? Because success leaves clues. So we're going to jump into my 6 reasons most Americans will never become a millionaire right now. So my very first reason why you won't become a millionaire, you don't invest enough money. Sad but true, a lot of people fall well below 15%. And ideally, you're putting away more than 15% of your gross income once you're debt free. You're putting 25% away, like you're squirreling away tons of money now while you have the ability to do that, so that once it comes to retirement, once you go into the later years of your life and you're unable to work or maybe work in the same capacity, you've built up a lot of margin in your life and you have a lot that you can then live off of. So that's the first one. You just don't invest enough money. And the second reason, you're not allowing time to truly work, right? We're not putting in the time. A lot of people either start investing really late compared to when they should be, or they'll start, but they don't really get a good start and they just sort of, wishy-washy for the first 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden they hit 40 and they go, I have to start thinking about retiring someday. Like, I can't do this forever. So there are a lot of factors here, but not allowing time to really benefit you, because as I've said before, even just getting started in the beginning when you're in your 20s is great because you're allowing compound interest to accrue. But what's really important is that you do allow time to take hold. If you just go from one job to the next and every time you're eligible to take that 401k and you don't roll it over, but you actually withdraw it, you're hurting yourself. You're really stealing from your future. So don't do that. Make a habit of always just rolling over that money. Don't touch it. Don't even think about it. Don't use it for something else. It's not an emergency fund. It's truly meant to be there to help you along your journey to building wealth so you can also retire with dignity. My third reason most people will not become millionaires, they lack consistency. So this is where that time and that investing enough really have to come together. It's doing it day in and day out over time. That is where a lot of people are going to make mistakes. And it's okay. Life happens. There are going to be maybe a season or two where you're just not able to put as much away. There are circumstances that can happen, maybe medical bills, a loved one passes. There are, of course, reasons why we may have to halt or slow our progress, but it should not be for an extended period of time here. So lacking consistency, you need to be putting away month in, month out, increasing that amount as you go, increasing your chances of becoming a millionaire so you can retire with that wealth. Okay, number 4. A lot of people will not become a millionaire because they're risk adverse. And frankly, I understand that, nothing in life is a guarantee. The sky can open tomorrow, right? But the fact that you're unwilling to properly plan as if you will be here another 100 years is truly scary. And that is why a lot of people, when they become risk adverse, don't see the returns they need. They get either no returns on their money because they're just stuffing it under their bed thinking the apocalypse is going to happen, which what good is your paper money going to do then? Or they put it into really low interest, low return fund options like CDs or a money market account. Again, making 1%, 2% on their money, hardly enough to even keep up with inflation, let alone having any sort of real wealth building. So again, being risk adverse is another reason people will not become a millionaire. And my 5th reason, this is a big one, not having a monthly budget. Now, you don't have to be so drilled down that every little thing is a line item in your budget, but you need to know some basics here. You need to know how much you're bringing in every month, and you need to know roughly where that money is going. Even if you created, let's say, 5 major buckets, you at least have an idea of where you're putting that money. And hopefully, within that budget, you are setting money aside for investing. You're investing either in 401k or an IRA, or maybe you just enjoy investing outside of retirement accounts and you like investing that way as well. You have real estate you invest in. All are totally fine, but you need to be putting away some money for retirement, and then of course you need to be accruing wealth over time. So what's important here is that you have that monthly budget and you stick to it. And that you actually know for a fact when you say, okay, we're going to put 20% of our income away every single month for retirement accounts, that you're actually going ahead and doing that. And here's the thing. You can't just say you're going to do it. You have to go and do it. That's why a lot of people really benefit from like automatic deductions, because it's one less thing they have to go and do. If you put more barriers in front of people, they're less likely to go and do it. So I definitely recommend, if you have the ability to do that, go ahead and just set automatic payroll deductions or whatever you find helps you to force yourself to start saving. And this way, you'll also never see it, which means you're less likely to be tempted to move that money and reallocate it somewhere else. I know that that's a big trick for a lot of people who don't necessarily enjoy saving money. Having that automatic deduction is a lifesaver because they never see it. It comes out of their paycheck and it's automatically reinvested somewhere else. So that could be a great option for you if that is an area that you struggle with in particular. And number 6, the last one. This is where I see most people in America especially are going to fall into this category. They have tons of debt. Well-meaning people who actually make good money, over $100,000, they still carry debt. Why is that? Why are we so in love with debt? Now, granted, there will be maybe a season of your life where you have debt, right? Maybe you are recently graduated from medical school. Like, medical school was super expensive. I get it. You're going to have some bills to pay, some student loans to pay down. But don't hold on to debt and then just continue to add more debt to your plate. Like, pay the debt off and be done with it. You know, for me personally, the only debt I have and the only debt I will ever allow myself to carry again is a home mortgage, because to me, everything else is something I can pay for outright. Cars, you know, hopefully tuition for children's college, things like that. Like, these are not things that I need to take out a loan for. I have no other debt. And that's because, again, I believe that debt really holds you back, and it prevents you from taking that money that you are now literally giving to a bank with interest, and it prevents you from taking that money that you've earned, that you've worked really hard for, and putting it towards your future, to putting it to work for you, really, at the end of the day. So that's another big one. Don't fall into the trap of going and getting things well before you can actually afford them. You don't need a $40,000 car when you make $38,000, right? It's just not necessary right now. And be patient. If you are really serious about building wealth, and you want to be not just a millionaire, a multimillionaire, it takes time. Be okay with the fact that a lot of the people you are seeing who are doing really well in life did not get there overnight. They worked really hard to get there, and it took time. You know, there's a reason you tend to see, you know, couples who are retired with a whole lot more than people who are just starting out in life, right? Like, we all have a journey, and it's very similar for a lot of us, where we start out making low paying, you know, minimum wage jobs. We have to start somewhere, and there is no reason to be upset about starting from the bottom, because we all have to start somewhere. I've started at a restaurant, you know, I worked in retail. I've done all sorts of odd and end jobs just to make ends meet, and so has my husband. But now we both do very well financially, where we both don't have to work those jobs anymore. And that's because we've put in the time, we've put in the effort. So just remember that. It's all about the journey, okay? You're gonna start somewhere, but it's all about how you go through the motions and those steps and those decisions you make every single day, okay? So don't be discouraged. If anything, I did want to make this video to say it is possible. All you have to do to become a millionaire is really work on these 6 things and a few more, but really make sure that you are consistent. Month in, month out, you're consistently investing. Make sure you're investing enough. Make sure you're allowing time to help you and really benefit you, because compound interest is your best friend. Make sure that you are not scared of a little risk. Like, risk means there's reward at the end, okay? So don't stuff money under a mattress or stick it in a money market and think that is what's going to be your saving grace at the end of the day, because it's not. And yes, the stock market is scary, but there are other ways you can be invested, and that's why diversification is so important when you're investing to begin with. And also, have a monthly budget, okay? If you cannot at least track what's coming in and what's going out, we have a major problem here. Like, you can't do any of the other stuff if you don't know what you're making and you don't know what you're spending. And of course, number 6, just get rid of debt. Again, the only debt that I carry is my home mortgage, and I think for the majority of people, they would find their quality of life improves so much more when they don't have car payments or student loan payments or any of these other payments coming out of their paycheck every single month. It's exhausting, and honestly, why? You know, like, why would you want to give your hard-earned money to somebody else and make them rich? Makes no sense. So do those 6 things. Make sure that you are actively tracking where you are towards your goals, and I know you can be a millionaire. So I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. Which of these is maybe something you struggle with that you're very guilty of? Or let me know which one is your favorite. I definitely want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next video.